Today we're talking dollar store hacks. Spent some time in the magical place known as Dollar Tree and gathered 10 different things that only cost a few dollars that you can incorporate into your maker pipe and conduit builds. I'm excited to show them to you. Let's jump in. First up, we've got these peel and stick felt pads. I'm sure you've seen these before, probably some on your furniture. You've had to replace them. What's cool about this pack is they have round ones that fit on conduit really nicely. You just peel the back off and you have a nice inexpensive foot for your build. You can also use the flat ones and put it directly on a horizontal span and have that touch the ground and just be a nice inexpensive foot. There's plenty in here. There's even sheets you could cut up. Just a great, nice hack to keep in mind for adding an inexpensive foot to your build. Next up, we've got these plastic bins. These are obviously useful for all kinds of stuff, but I think these are a great thing to use while building because you could just set them off to the side. You could add some hardware, add connectors that fit in there nicely, and you can keep everything organized while you're building, which is really important. You get 3 of these for $1.25. You can also incorporate them into your build if you're doing some kind of storage car or something. We talked about a hack where you get a spring clip and secure that to the bottom, and you have a quickly removable bin that you can move around your build and things like that. So I think that's just a great hack. They also have a bunch of these different sizes, and they have some with lids, all kinds of cool stuff, so a great one to keep in mind. Next up, we have these cool hooks, and these are meant to be used as a metal hanging plant bracket, as you can see. But what's really cool is they have these hooks that will hook around conduit really nicely, and I'm thinking you can hook these on conduit, secure a flat surface to the bottom with the included screws, and you can have a hanging shelf on your build that swings back and forth if you wanted to, or it could just sit nice and still and just be a really cool looking shelf that you have in your conduit build. I think that's really awesome and a nice way to use these really inexpensive brackets. It should be pretty strong. You can see the metal flexes a little bit, but nothing too crazy. I mean, it's $1.25, so you can't expect super structural, but a great one nonetheless. And along those lines, there's also some other hooks that are meant to be a garden hook, but these are also, because they're rounded and they're hook-shaped, will fit over conduit, and you can use these in your build to hang up all sorts of stuff. And really, I just thought of, you could hook this on conduit and then have conduit hooked in the bottom here. I don't know why you would do that, but could be something cool that you could do if you have a use case that could benefit from that. That's just another great inexpensive hook that you can get $1.25 for 2 of them, and it'll be great for your build. Next, we've got, let's actually do something out of the bag. Probably my favorite hack out of all of these is the Hotwheel Track, meant for Hot Wheel cars. Then we're going to use this in a really unique way, not for Hot Wheel cars. Well, maybe not right now anyway. We're going to create a sliding label organizer, we'll call it. It's a track, but for a label. So I've got this label that I made here, just cut up a piece of paper, and I'm just going to put something on here. As you can see, subscribe. And now we've got this label that we can slide in the track, and it'll sit there and you can slide it back and forth. So imagine you have a conduit build and you secure this to the conduit. You could add a self-tapping screw. There's a hole already here. You can go through this track and into the conduit, secure this to your build, create a bunch of different labels, and slide them around to have labels on your conduit builds for different things when you're organizing. And because this is just rubber, nice, it's nothing too crazy, you could just cut right through it and use it in your builds to have labels on your builds. Super cool. Really excited about that one. The next one we'll talk about is this. Wouldn't fit in the bag. We've talked about pool noodles a lot on the channel, and you can normally get them at Dollar General, Walmart, all kinds of places, and they're usually a few bucks. But of course, being at Dollar Tree, they were $1.25, and these work great for a couple of things. You can just slice down the pool noodle and then add it over top of the conduit, and you can use it to protect stuff. People use it in kayak carts, in different shelves, whatever it may be, to actually protect whatever it is that normally would be touching the bare conduit, and they work really well for that. We've also seen it used as an art piece. So Trevor from Seattle Design Nerds built a walk-through structure, as you can see, and he put lights inside of the pool noodle, and it lit up and created this really cool tunnel that you could walk through in Seattle. That was really awesome. And I don't have any LED strips, but we did get some glow sticks, as you can see. I don't think you'll be able to really see too well in the light, but I'll show a video of this inside of it. But we got the white pool noodle, so you can have a light inside, and it'll shine through and kind of project the light and kind of diffuse it, which is cool. But the pool noodle, kind of a underdog hero, but it's really cool and works great for projects, whether you're protecting it or using, for art or something like that. That's a great one. And like I said, it's usually a few bucks, but it's $1.25 at Dollar Tree, so it's great. Next up, let's look at the Broomstick. Now this is kind of a Hail Mary hack, but it was $1.25 for this 4-foot long broomstick. And it's made of this like really cheap kind of, you can kind of see here, it's just a really thin, I think it's plastic, but it's like coated, and you can see it moves and squishes really easily, but it's a broomstick, and like it's $1.25 for 4 foot. That comes out to like 30 cents or something like that per foot, as opposed to conduit, which is 3/4 inch, and it actually just dropped in price a good amount. It's almost $10 for a 10-foot stick. It's about $1 a foot. And of course, this isn't going to be a structural conduit, nowhere near as structural, but it could be something cheap that you could incorporate into your build and use as something to kind of hold a shape maybe. So if you're building like a small cover for a garden or a plant, and you have a couple of these and you just have some lightweight plastic over top, and this is really just holding that shape, not really acting as a structural pipe, could be great for that. And it's a little bit off in the diameter, but a good hack for you guys, if you want to ever connect a connector that's slightly off in diameter, you can use a couple different things. We like to recommend the friction bands that we have on the site. You just slide these over the pipe and heat them up. But if you don't have any of those laying around, you could also just get some electrical tape and wrap that around a few times. And they actually had electrical tape at Dollar Tree as well. And you can actually just wrap that around and kind of make up the difference in diameter. As you can see here, we've got the 3/4 inch connector, and it goes over top of it now with that electrical tape shim, and connects really nicely. And it does squish the pipe a little bit, but again, this would be great for kind of holding a shape and not necessarily being super structural. But that's a cool hack, and it's cheaper per foot than conduit, and could be something to keep in mind and use in your build. So that's an interesting one, broom handle. Next is another one from Dollar Tree, but this was in Dollar Tree Plus section. I didn't even know that existed. But as you can see, it's not $1, it's $5 for the Plus Dollar Tree item. We're getting premium here. This is a bamboo cutting board, but I like it a lot. I should have measured it, but I don't know the exact measurements. But it's a nice, kind of compact board. I think this would be great for, small tables or shelves or something. It has a nice, rounded corner, and it's just a nice smooth board. Looks great with the bamboo. And you could use this as a small tabletop for a side table, or maybe get 3 or 4 of them and you have them, different tiers, and create shelves with them. And it's just a nice board that you could use. And you could use, like a 1-inch hole saw and drill through the pipe, and put it through that. Use those different techniques we've talked about on the channel for securing flat surfaces to builds. And I think that would work great for something like that, like a side table. I think I'm going to pick up a few and use them in a shelf build I'm doing soon, because it's just a nice small size and it just looks great with that bamboo. They also have like metal baking sheets you could also use. We've seen people do that for kind of a more sturdy shelf, I guess, or more industrial looking shelf. And kind of along those lines is another item we got here. This large plastic tray was only $3. It was another premium Dollar Tree Plus item, but it was $3, and I think this is awesome. Imagine you have a build, you've got pipes going up and across, and you could just set this on top, and then you have a nice, tray that you could put stuff on, and it's even got this lip around the end, so you could even put plants on top of it and not have to worry about the water spilling or different things like that. Kind of reminds me of the trays you put underneath washers if you ever have a water leak, and they kind of keep water from going all over your house. It kind of reminds me of that, and I think it could be really useful for shelves and different things, where basically you just set it on top of a frame. And of course, you could even drill through it. It's a pretty, I'm surprised how sturdy of a plastic it is, but you could drill through it and have the conduit run through it and even secure it that way. But just a really cool tray. And even though it's $3, I still think it's a great value for shelves and things. And here's kind of an interesting one. Saw this one and we're like, oh, instantly we know what to use this for. If you've ever built like in the garage or on a hardwood floor or something, it can get kind of uncomfortable to kind of walk around on your knees and move around. But this is meant to be a kneeling pad. And as you would expect, you just put it on the ground, put your knees on it, and then you can build and connect everything together, build with conduit, and you have a nice barrier between the ground and your knees. And it's nice and thick, actually, so it actually does a pretty good job. I didn't even feel the ground at all there. So that's kind of a different kind of hack that's for actually building, and not necessarily a solution for your build, but to save your knees while you're working on a project. So that's another cool one. Now we'll go back inside the bag. We got a couple more. This is a plastic clamp. Let's see if I can get it out there. It's a plastic clamp. You know, it's $1.25 for two, so it's not the strongest, woodworker's clamp, but there's a couple of hacks we've talked about on the channel where while you're building, you slide this over the pipe and kind of hold the connector in place. And for something that's not really supporting a lot of weight or doesn't need to be super strong, it's just kind of holding the connector there. This will work great. You just add it to the pipe or the broomstick, and you can just hold the connector in place. I don't have a nut and bolt with me, but basically you just put it underneath the connector on like a vertical pipe, and then it kind of just rests underneath it and holds the connector there, so you can assemble it and put it together a lot easier. You don't have to like wrestle with it and the pipes. You can just kind of let it do its thing there. So for $1.25, that's a nice hack to keep in mind while you're building and just kind of hold the connectors in place. Last but not least is a sponge, kind of, I guess it's a sponge. Let's see what it's actually called. A grill scrubber. So it's made to scrub a grill, so it's pretty heavy duty. It's really rough and coarse, and it's made to rub on a grill and clean and scrub the grill from all the char and stuff like that on there. But our thought is you could use this to polish conduit. So sometimes you get conduit from the hardware store, and it might have some dirt and stuff on it, or it just might not be the cleanest. I always get jealous because it seems like West Coast conduit is a lot cleaner than East Coast conduit for some reason, but that's beside the point. You can use this to scrub the conduit and polish it and have a nice silver polished conduit in your build. But I think that's all the hacks. I had a ton of fun walking around Dollar Tree. If nothing else, this is a good reminder to not always look for the most expensive solution, but you can also go to Dollar Tree and places like that. As long as you can solve a problem and save some money, that's a good way to do it. But thanks everybody for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next video.